Boys and girls, welcome back to the Maxi Canalla show. Today we're going to talk about Rosario Central, Corinthians 0-0, tie in the first leg of the Copa Libertadores round of 16. Um, in Arroyito, Central tied 0-0. Central, well, this is disappointing. This is very disappointing that we weren't able to take advantage of having home advantage in the first leg and going over to Brazil in the second leg. We should have won at least 1-0, um, but we didn't. We couldn't take advantage of the opportunity we had. Central in the first half came out really aggressive, very high press. Every line pressed very high up, and it worked. Corinthians came out playing from the back, one touch on the floor football, and they escaped a couple lines of pressure. But every time they moved forward, there was another line of pressure, and that is what Central did really, really well. Central did that very, very, very well throughout the whole game. Didn't let Corinthians get through lines easily. So there was one line of pressure that was the forwards, and then right behind them was very, very tight line of very aggressive midfielders, and then at the end you would have either Coronel Sandes or one of the central center backs, Obando or El Gato Avila, pressing high and anticipating. So they were phenomenal. And the defense was phenomenal. Perfect. But Pizarro is like playing with 10 men. Having Pizarro on your team is playing with 10 men. He doesn't do anything for Central. He doesn't do a thing for Central. He is a net negative for Central. He doesn't do any passes forward. Doesn't get the ball and start creating football. He doesn't give you he doesn't give you clarity. He doesn't give you passes in the last third. Doesn't give you passes in the middle. Just passes to the side, gives it to Ibarra or to a center back or to Sandes or to Campas and see what they do. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't create football. He doesn't defend. He was the only one on the team that wasn't defending well. And then thankfully, he slide tackles a counter attack where Central was caught off and was disorganized in the back for a second, and they had a break. And Pizarro slide tackles and cuts it, and he gets a yellow card. Thankfully, he got a yellow card at minute 30, and that means he has to get subbed off for sure because of how aggressive the game was. And we knew it was going to be aggressive with the Brazilian team. It's always aggressive, and we fell a little bit into their game of the fights. They started fights for no good reason, basically. We were being aggressive, but we weren't being dirty. And they just decided to scrap every other time. So we fell into that a little bit. But Central had lots of great attitude, lots of great aggressive pressing, but little football, little intelligence, little football. Um, and that's really what did it for Central tonight. Um, in the second half, Almiron puts on Pizarro. Sorry, he puts on Navarro for Pizarro, which is the best change he's ever done. Central was already way better in midfield, way better. Navarro moves a lot from one side to the other and is always open in space, always taking space. He doesn't drive the ball forward, but he always is looking for space and is an option in the middle. Pizarro looks like he's hiding. He doesn't want the ball. I don't know why he plays in Central, to be honest. Pizarro is horrible in Central. For me, he got a zero rating this game. Terrible. Literally a terrible player. Sandes in the first half was one of the only Central players to foul like 4 or 5 times. And he didn't get a yellow. He got extremely lucky. But Sandes can't defend, so he fouls because they get away from him. And he gets space in behind, so he has to foul them. And he's really, really bad. Sandes is really bad as well. He gets a 1 or a 2 rating. Coronel usually plays a better game, but today he was like a 2. He was like a 2 rating. Obando and Avila were probably the best players on the pitch. Um, an 8 for both. Ibarra was definitely the best player on the pitch, especially in the second half where nobody could get by him, anticipated everything. He went in with everything and won the ball always cleanly. Beautiful, 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 beautiful Ibarra. Beautiful, beautiful Ibarra. What a player he is. 9 rating. The Maria 6.5, probably 7, around there. Uh, and what I'm saying is Central has a big problem apart from not having a number 9. So we're basically playing with 9 players because Copetti doesn't do a thing either. But Central doesn't have a footballer that creates. There's no creating football. There's no enganche. There's no number 10. That's what we're missing. We're missing a player like Malcorra in his time. Malcorra was the one that drove the ball through the middle and maybe put it to the outside, but at least he drove it through the middle and gave us more opportunities to look at the final third from the front. Instead, we have to go to the extremities because Di Maria plays as a number 10 in this formation, but he always drifts wide. He always drifts to the right, and 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 then it's Cantizano and Di Maria and on the right, and Coronel overlapping. So you have 3 players there, which don't know where to move too much because there's not enough space there. Cantizano just drifts over to the middle a bit, and that's he doesn't play there either. So then he becomes null, and Central doesn't have attacking ideas. Nobody creates football. Di Maria can put in nice passes every now and then, but he's far from that version of himself when he was literally just couldn't do anything wrong. Uh, Still not finding himself to be at his top level. He it's still he still has way too much quality and it's just too good. So he's never going to play bad, especially in the central side that is so low in quality. But Di Maria plays wonderfully, even if he's not at his highest level. But he does leave a little bit. He does leave just a little bit, but I think he's missing um, a good tandem. We need a number 10 that creates a bit, and we need a number 9 um, that can score because Central is obviously missing the goal. We have no opportunities to score and no goal scorers. So that's the big issue with Central because we dominated the whole game. Most of possession, most opportunities created, because somehow at some point you have to create an opportunity. Di Maria throwing in a bunch of crosses, Campas throwing in a bunch of crosses and trying to get at the end of them. But we didn't create any clear chances. No clear chance. We didn't have any one-on-ones, nothing. Around minute 60, 65, uh, I'm starting to get nervous about how it's still 0-0 and Central hasn't created anything super clear. Even though we keep insisting, keep having a bunch of attitude, but little football, but we keep insisting, we have the ball, we dominate, we cut them off quick, but there's no clear chances. Copetti isn't doing anything. He stays in between both center backs and fights a lot, but doesn't move them out of place. Doesn't move a lot. He isn't very dynamic. He's just a guy that's up there in between both center backs and wants to fight with them. And he doesn't serve much of a purpose. So at this point, I'm thinking, well, you got to change Copetti and put in Badaloni. And of course, Almiron always waits till the last 10 minutes to start making changes. At that point, um, Corinthians was left with 10 for a double yellow. They got a red on Alan, I think. And they're left with 10 men. Central now has the opportunity to enclose their opponent even more with a man up and try to score. That's that goal that they couldn't get throughout the whole game, throughout this whole first 80 minutes, now are presented with a better opportunity to score in El Gigante. But we couldn't get it. We couldn't get that goal. At the end, he puts in Badaloni, and now we play with two number nines, Copetti and Badaloni. Badaloni in the 15 minutes that he played showed that he is worse than Copetti somehow, and he can't control a ball. He can't move into spaces. He can't fight with the defenders. He can't do anything. Doesn't look for spaces. I don't know what. I don't know how he has shown so little in the opportunities that he's had, but complete disappointment. And if it's true that we bought him for $4 million, this is a disgrace. Badaloni, I don't know where he came from and who told Central to buy him, but he has been a complete disappointment. And if it's true that it's $4 million for Badaloni, this is a disgrace. Now, in the last 7 minutes, Almiron is desperate and he puts on Marco Ruben. And in those 7 minutes that Marco Ruben played, he showed that he's 10 times more than Copetti and a million times more than Badaloni at age 39, coming off of an injury, only being able to play 7 minutes because he looks for spaces. It doesn't look just to fight. He is the number nine that will kill you in the box. And he had a shot and it drifted wide, that's true. But he showed more than Badaloni and more than Copetti in 7 minutes at age 39, coming off of an injury. We're in deep, deep trouble in the number nine spot. Deep, deep, deep trouble in the number nine spot. Deep trouble. And it's disappointing. It's a disappointment that the the match result is a disappointment, but Central in the transfer market, in terms of ideas of how to play, in terms of football, is a disappointment. Not just this match. But now we have to go play in Brazil, and that's going to be very difficult. Uh, Brazil is very hard to play in, very, very difficult to play in. We're going to get, um, we're going to get intimidated. We're going to get pressured. We're going to get suffocated by the fans. They're going to be extremely loud, and we have to hold on. We have to hold on and see if we can try to dominate them again. I think the game was planted in the correct way. Uh, the initial idea was correct, the way Almiron wanted to play. Good pressure, very good pressure, and looking to play the game. But Central in the final third doesn't have a chance creator. Di Maria, as good as he is, he's not a chance creator. We see him drifting wide and putting in long balls that, of course, Di Maria can put in a long ball that's nuts and you can score, but he hasn't found his best version uh, in Central like he did in the past, 2025, where he was just incredible. Now he's just good, but can't find that critical, crucial, and brutal version that he played in 2025. So Central has to finish the series off in Brazil in the second leg next Thursday. Boys, I want to thank you for listening to the Maxi Canalla show. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you enjoy my content, subscribe. Please consider it. It would help me a ton. I thank you for listening. And remember, enjoy the football. I want Central, I want USA, and I want Argentina. See you in the next one.